Welcome, everyone.
I'll move this mic a little closer. Maybe that'll help my voice. I'm even writing talk loud.
Welcome, everyone, to the 6th episode of the Elderly Instruments Living Room Sessions. This show is put on by Elderly Instruments, your friendly fretted instrument store from Lansing, Michigan, and will feature 2 sets of music and a short intermission featuring a pre-recorded conversation with Bruce Molsky and Elderly co-owner Stan Werbin. And now, without further ado, Bruce's take on tradition has brought us wonderful collaborations with some of the world's most respected players from roots to rock. His trio, Molsky's Mountain Drifters, most recent release, Closing the Gap, topped the folk DJ charts in April of last year. Live from New York, Bruce Molsky.
Live from New York, but I never made Saturday Night Live. Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. And it's great to see Lily and AJ and all of you all. I know you're there. So, yeah, I'm going to make it so that I can see the comments that come in the chat here, hopefully. And hopefully you can hear me. And somebody named Taylor just logged on, so I'm assuming you can all hear. I brought out all my instruments. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I'm just going to start with something seasonal. Hooray, Jakes, hooray, John, breaking up Christmas all night long. Way down south, long time ago, folks danced do-si-do. Santa Claus come and done gone, breaking up Christmas all night long. right. Well, once again, it's great to be here with Elderly. The Elderly Sessions. That's not descriptive of the performers, only of the name of the store. But seriously, I really do believe that the music that we play, when it's at its best, has stories that go with it, or places you learned the music, or people you were with, or things it reminds you of. And so I pulled out all these instruments tonight, not to show off, and not because I'm a collector by any sense, but I've just been doing this a long time, and things accumulate. And so I started off tonight with this fiddle. I got this fiddle right before I ran away from home from New York to Virginia in the 1970s. And it's the fiddle I played, and the couple of tunes I played for you were tunes that I played back then when I first landed in Lexington, Virginia, and couch surfed for a while. And it's a cool old fiddle. It's been sitting on the wall and it hasn't been played in quite a while, so it's just hearing the tone of this thing kind of brings you back. The first tune, of course, was Breaking Up Christmas, and an old dance music favorite, especially in Surrey County, North Carolina. And the second was a West Virginia tune, one of many versions of Shelving Rock. So I'm going to kind of keep it old here for a while. I'm just going to cycle through a few things. I'm kind of excited about some of these pieces I haven't played in a while, but I hope this is an interesting journey for all of us. Here we go. Sorry, I'm doing IT here at the same time. One of the first things I ever wanted to do with the violin was to sing with it. Sing you one of my favorite old love songs. Wish to the Lord I'd never been born. Died when I was a baby. Never would have seen your two brown eyes, or eating the salty gravy, or eating the salty gravy. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. Who's gonna shoe your pretty little feet? Who will glove your hand? Who's gonna kiss your ruby red lips when I'm in a foreign land, dear love, when I'm in a foreign land? I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. I truly understand that you love another man, your heart shall no longer be mine. Papa will shoe my pretty little feet, Mama will glove my hand, Sister will kiss my ruby red lips when I'm in a foreign land, dear love, I'm in a foreign land. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. Never will take another one's hand, let her hair be black or brown. Rather rather be standing on the top of some mountain where the rain come tumbling down, dear love, where the rain come tumbling down. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. Wish to the Lord I'd never been born, died when I was young. Never would have seen your two brown eyes, I heard your flattering tongue, dear love, heard your lying tongue. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. I truly understand that you love another man, and your heart shall no longer be mine. It's an old favorite. I truly understand. Hope you all doing all right out there. And let's see. I'm going to make it happy again here. Grab guitar number 1 and instantly retune it to another tuning. Hey, Darlene. The way my screen is here, I can see one comment at a time. I see Darlene McClurkin. It's nice to see you here. Hey, Megan. Hey. Play a little piece of dance music, a little roadhouse dance music. How about that? Instruments have interesting provenance, but I'll just tell you a little. That fiddle that I was playing a moment ago was made in West Virginia by somebody named Hugh Blosser, who I know nothing about. But it's the first real fiddle I ever really owned. So my sister's high school band instrument, which was the first fiddle that I had, that I took and sanded all the finish off, thinking that it would make it sound better. And lo and behold, it did not. This here is this is my baby. This is a pre-war Martin that I have had for a very long time. So since we're in a music instrument shop, or in a virtual musical instrument store, I feel like I need to tell you that much. 1940 Martin 0028. That's all I'm saying. Here's the Knoxville Blues. You're allowed to dance. for listening, for being here. Thank you to Elderly Instruments for making this happen. Let's see. Who's next? You're next. So, I don't come from a musical family, but my great uncle, Irving Panzer, who died quite a few years ago, was a very, very interesting and influential lawyer in Washington, D.C. And he was also he wrote briefs for Thurgood Marshall and helped to desegregate the Washington, D.C. YMCA in the 1950s, and he was a very, very smart guy who also loved folk music and who used to tool around the South collecting songs. And sadly, he didn't preserve them very well, but I saw a chipboard guitar case in his house one day, and I said, Uncle Irv, what's that? He says, oh, I don't know. He said, I bought this in 1950, and it was just, I bought it to be an old beater, and it's been in the case. Put it in the car, take it home. And it was this. And it's a beautiful old guitar, and I call it Uncle Irv. So I'll play you something that I haven't played in a really long time, and just seemed like the right piece of music for the moment. I used to sit in my house in Charlottesville, Virginia, playing this with my old friend Paul Brown. But it came from Hobart Smith. It's called Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill, Railroad Bill, he never worked and he never will, and it's right, right, right. Railroad Bill, he's a mighty mean man, shot that lantern out the brakeman's hand, and it's right, right, right. Keep it on the road now. Get me a pistol, long as my arm, gonna shoot everybody ever done me harm, and it's right, right, right. Gonna kill me a chicken, save me the wing. They think I'm working, I ain't doing a thing, and it's right, right, right. Railroad Bill, he's standing around a curve, waiting for that fast freight. Would you like to have his nerve? And it's right, right, right. And Railroad Bill, you know, Railroad Bill, lighting cigars with a $10 bill, and it's right, right, right. Let's ride together. Let's see. What do you all want to hear? I don't know. But I know what I want to kind of play you, if it's okay. I think. Come back. Here's yet another banjo. And here's a tune from the great Clyde Davenport, which most people know him for being a great fiddler. He was a great banjo player too, and he played this next tune on both of them. Cheers. And it's called 5 Miles from Town. Stop. I like these old tunes. "5 Miles from Town." Maybe I'll grab my fiddle one more time. Grab a little more modern of one here. And play you, let's see, maybe a little something. Oops. Logistics, sorry. Do I want to play that? Do I really, really want to play that? No, I think I want to play this. little bit of take it from Texas to Eastern Kentucky. How about that? I hear you, AJ. Not there yet. It's coming, Megan. Say, Old Man, Can You Play a Fiddle? From the great Eck Robertson, and followed by Glory in the Meeting House, Eastern Kentucky tune. I think I'm going to push my luck and play two more things in this set, because I really want to get a guitar piece and one other thing in there. I'm going to do it on yet another guitar. This is a piece of music I wrote quite a few years back, and I wrote it after hearing some freedom songs on a recording that was produced in part through the efforts of an old friend named Steve Goldfield out in California. It was called Africa in Revolutionary Music, and it just blew my mind. How soulful and real and just real these choral pieces were. And I wrote this piece, and I recorded it on this Santa Cruz guitar a long time ago, so I kind of, if I have the opportunity to play it on there, I like to. And it's called Brothers and Sisters. Sorry, I got a little lost in that one. Hope you all are doing okay. I'm going to give you one more piece before we take a little short break. And you'll hear a little interview that I did with Stan Werbin, the founder of Elderly Instruments, a few days back. Talk a little bit more about these instruments, too. I didn't want to be redundant. Let's see. You go there. And you come here. I'll end with, somebody wrote to me when we first started telling folks about this show, because he spotted my Kyle Creed banjo, surprise possession, and said I ought to play a proper tune on it, like Sally Ann. I can't remember your name. I hope you're out there. So I'm going to end this first set with a dance tune. I want to say thank you all so much for showing up. Please stick around. I'm going to play a lot more very different stuff in the second set. And thank you for those of you who've been tipping on the tip jar. We really appreciate that. I appreciate that. So here's a little bit of Sally Ann. Thank you all. That's the halfway point. Stick around, hit the donate button, and we'll see you again very soon.
Yes, I love listening to you play.
I know you're there.
Oh, man. I hope you're enjoying the show as much as I am.
Well, I can get one.
I love listening to you play. It's so fun. Been dancing in my seat. Oh, I hope you're all enjoying the show as much as I am. And if you are, we encourage you to tip the man. Bruce is accepting tips through his PayPal and Venmo accounts, and the link is pinned in our comments, or you can head on over to elderly.com/Molsky. And now for a bit of intermission. Please enjoy the next 11 minutes and 40 seconds of conversation between the great Bruce Molsky and one of my personal faves,
Bruce
Stan Werbin.
Hello. Hey, Stan. How are you, man? Very good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Welcome to the Elderly Instruments living room sessions. From our living room to your living room to everybody else's living room, which is where we all spend all our time these days, on some level. Anyway, it's great to have you here. We're really thrilled. I wanted to ask you a few questions. Just the idea is for people maybe to get to know you in some ways that they don't already. Of course, hopefully there'll be new people seeing you as well. But I thought I would start by asking you about your instruments.
Okay.
Because we're Elderly Instruments here, and we're always interested.
It's easy to walk into your shop and difficult to walk out.
Well, that's okay with us. Yeah. I wanted to ask you first about your fiddle. Who made your fiddle? And I bet you have several, but I'm thinking about your main instrument.
Well, I have two, and I kind of go back and forth between them. One is, and they just happen to both be right here next to me. Mm-hmm. This is the more recent of the two, and it's a fiddle that's made in Shetland, Scotland, by a maker named Ewan Thompson, and he has made fiddles for a lot of the great Shetland players. Kevin Henderson and Chris Stout and Lois Nicol and they all kind of shared a common voice that I really liked and I was kind of looking for and I took a big deep breath about 6 years ago and asked him to make me one.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm thrilled with it. It has a really nice kind of voice, especially for more lyrical, smoother kinds of things. The other fiddle that I got new in 1992, which if you can see is pretty well beat up, and it
looks okay from here.
It was made by the brother of a great old time fiddler I played in a band with for many years, who's Rafe Stefanini. This was made by his brother Bruno Stefanini. Oh,
okay. I didn't know his brother made fiddles.
Oh,
I knew that Rafe. I know that Rafe works on them, but I didn't know that his brother made them.
Yeah, Rafe and Bruno both studied under the last of the great Bolognese violin makers. His name was Othello Bignami.
Okay.
It's I didn't know this when I bought it, but it's of a particular Bolognese style.
Yeah.
It's very Italian. It has kind of a certain nasality that you find in Italian instruments. I'm no expert. I know what little I know.
But you like it. I mean, you know what you like, obviously.
I've played it since 1992, and it's very much my voice.
Indeed. No, okay. So let's move on to your banjos.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Not at all. Well, I have three banjos that I play between. Two of them are handy. Here's my Kevin Enoch banjo, and he built this for me in 2006.
Yeah.
And it's got a 12-inch pot and open back, solid brass tone ring, and some really incredibly beautiful inlay, which he's...
Yeah, it looks like coal type inlays to me here.
Yeah, I wanted a shooting star, and he said he had some extra abolone hanging around, and so he made a shooting star for me. But it's a great player. It has a really deep, warm sort of sound. It's really good for vocal stuff. And
wonderful.
My other...
Is that... Okay, I was going to ask if is that your sort of number one banjo, or do they rotate sometimes too?
They rotate. When I was touring on the road, this was my touring banjo.
Okay.
And the banjo that I had before I had this, which I don't take out as much because it's kind of precious, which is kind of in a case over there right now, is a Kyle Creed, also banjo was made in 1978.
Okay.
And
did you get it from him or?
No, I got it in a three-way trade with a couple of friends. One person had the banjo, I had a car, and the other person had money, and we just kind of everybody passed everything to the right.
Oh, that's funny.
And it just kind of worked out.
That's great.
But I love that banjo. It's got that real round peak kind of sound.
Sure, no doubt.
And the third one, which I've been playing more and more lately, is this old fretless. And I had my friend Jim Bowman, who's I know you know, who's a expert on banjo history, to date it for me. It was made in the 1870s, except for the geared pegs and the Formica fingerboard. Now this
Well,
banjo player,
those are a giveaway.
yeah, it belonged to a dear friend, Ray Alden. You probably also,
Of course,
know.
yeah.
And Ray presented this banjo to me shortly before he passed, and he had it upgraded with a linoleum fingerboard, and it slides great. You know,
Yeah.
I've been playing it a whole lot. I'll definitely enjoy this thing.
Great.
So.
And so now I'll just ask you about the guitar behind you. Of course.
I'm not talking to the owner of a musical instrument shop.
No.
All right.
And after the guitars, we'll stop.
This is my baby.
Okay.
And it's a 1940 0028 Martin.
Lovely guitar.
One of the very last of the pre-war braced ones.
Sure.
And I've had it for 35 years. And this is my guitar. If somebody says, "What's your guitar?" This is the one.
For sure.
And this is also one that never went under the plane.
Okay. Yeah.
Although I bought a case to fit it. And
good idea.
Then I thought it was a really good idea to find out what it was worth, and then I didn't take it out of the house, so I bought another guitar to fit in the case. And that was my touring guitar. It's a Santa Cruz OM.
Okay, sure. Also wonderful guitars.
Yeah. Recently I was presented with a really special instrument, and it's not. I mean, partially because it's a special instrument. It's a 1926 Martin 0018, but it's mostly special because it was one of the very last instruments that was restored by a great luthier named Paul Hostetter.
Well, I know Paul too, of course. Yeah.
And Paul,
knew him.
As you know, Paul left us, but a friend of his, who's also a friend of mine, owned the guitar, and after Paul did all the work on it, presented it to me, and he said, I want this to be the Hostetter Martin. And these instruments, when they have a little bit of a backstory and a history, it's like the tunes. It just it gives everything so much more meaning and depth, and
it means more.
It's just a piece of wood, for God's sake.
Of course.
But
it's just
at the end
just a tool.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's where it came from and where it goes and what you do with it and what it means to you. You know.
No, right. I mean, all these instruments, they're just tools, but they're very personal things for people.
Yeah.
Maybe not for everybody. Although I'll say that just briefly, when we first opened the store in the early 70s, we used to see a lot of these very nice old beautiful guitars that had been beat to hell, basically, and in the intervening 45 or 50 years, we've I've certainly noticed that anything people have bought for the last 30, 40 years, they've had to pay a lot more than they did in the 60s or 70s. And they realize, people understand nowadays, usually when they get a fine instrument, whether it's a new one or an old one, is they don't beat them up very much. I mean, people are much more careful about them these days, and that's the advantage of prices having kind of gone way, way high over the years.
But these instruments are worth the price.
For sure.
If you look shopping for an instrument and you take the time and really find the one that you feel like you can bond with, you want to take care of it.
Well, that's right. And most people do nowadays. Again, it's good to see it. So let me change the subject slightly, at least. But you've played all these instruments for a while, at least all these three, and I'm wondering what happened before that. Did you take music in school, or grade school, high school, any of that? Were you in band or orchestra? Nothing at all.
None of the above. I fell in love with music. I fell in love with pop music radio in New York City in the 1960s when I was a kid.
Yeah, sure.
And,
Murray the K.
Yeah, and Murray the K and Cousin Brucey.
That's right.
And I'll say that the reason that I play, and I tell this story a lot, those of your listeners who've been around me, I always try to let people know this, because my public school in New York was visited by the great jazz educator Billy Taylor in the 1960s, and he led a program for like 40 years in the New York City public schools called Jazzmobile, where he visited himself or brought other great jazz artists into the schools to motivate and excite children about music, you know.
Sure.
And I already loved music.
This was grade school? This was grade school?
I was in the 5th grade, yeah.
So PS what?
PS 81X.
Okay.
Right across the street from my house. And
okay, that's
handy. And he came, and I still remember it. It's one of those things that's embedded in my memory. But he played and talked, and he flipped the switch in my head. And that was the day I went home and asked my mom, you know, could I play the guitar, and which was my first instrument. And so, you know, now all these years later, I teach music. I'm on faculty at Berklee College of Music. And so much I'm very proud of the Roots Music program there. And I've met a lot of old players, you know, that I was lucky enough to meet when I was younger. And I feel like a link in the chain. I want to pass this stuff on.
Yeah, you definitely are.
You know, so Billy Taylor, he taught me what a teachable moment is.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. Great talking to you. Say hi to Audrey, and I will get back to your concert.
Thank you for having me, Stan. This is great. Take care. Good to see you.
Thank you, Bruce. My pleasure.
Well, I love listening to you guys talk. I know.
Got a lot of stories to tell.
I feel that's how I've learned. So I hope everyone enjoyed the intermission. And be sure to tip the man, because I'm certain he's going to bring us some more beautiful music right this second. So once again, Bruce Molsky.
Thank you, Lily. Wow. So I managed to tune a few instruments and fix my headphones all during the break. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. And I'm going to try not to break anything here. I'm going to start off with this beast. This is a special instrument. I don't take it out that very much at all. I don't take very much of anything out these days, as we don't in the current circumstance. But this especially. This is a modern interpretation of a hardanger fiddle. The hardanger, if you're not familiar with it, is the national instrument of Norway. Normally it would have 4 primary strings like a violin, except maybe a little smaller, and then sympathetic strings that they call them understrings. And if you can see them, they're underneath, and they resonate along. This is a 5x5 though, so it's got a nice low note on the bottom. And I'm going to play you my own kind of old-time interpretation of a beautiful old Norwegian march called Fikerud's Farewell to America. Fikarud's Farewell to America. I learned from my dear friend and colleague Annbjørg Lien, who's from southern Norway and one of the greatest artisans on the Hardanger fiddle. Somebody asked the question, do the sympathetic strings go under the fingerboard? Yes, they do. And the upshot of that is that you never want to have to restring this thing unless you really, really, really have to. It's a piece of work, but I love it. And I hope that dome-like sound of these sympathetic strings came across on the internet. While we're traveling between countries here, I'm going to grab a guitar. You know, we talk about music being a journey, and we don't. Those kind of things can kind of become buzzwords after a while, but it really, really is. It took me a long time to figure out. Took me a long time to figure out that music is a common language in the sense that it does the same thing for everybody wherever you go. Just comes in different accents and time signatures, and I was invited to join a band with a musical hero of mine some time back. His name is Andy Irvine, one of the great songwriters of my lifetime, I'm convinced. I love his music. And we all formed a band. There were 5 of us called Mosaic. And it was through Mosaic that I discovered that all folk music is not accessible to somebody that grew up in only one place and speaks only one language. Because he sent me some recordings of things to learn for our first tour together, and I took them and I put them aside, and I thought, well, it's just folk music. I'll learn it when I get there. Little did I know, there are these things called time signatures that are unfamiliar to me, and anybody who's listened to Balkan music would know that. So, kind of as penance, I arranged the guitar piece some time back, which is a lot of fun to play. It's a rečenica, which means it's in 7. And it sounds like a brass band to me on the original recording. It was not a guitar piece. So anyway, here's the brass band rečenica. brass band Rechenitsa. I can just see just big guys with billowing white shirts and huge mustaches marching around a town square somewhere whenever I hear that tune. I'll bring it a little bit closer to home. And I'd like to play you a set of music from the Métis fiddle tradition. It's a beautiful repertoire of music that you hear in the Canadian prairies and on down into the north midwestern states. Just get my fiddle back in standard tuning here. Folk music is great because you can go to a lot of places without leaving your chair. So here's a set of 3 tunes. The first one is just a traditional dance tune I don't know the name of, but it comes from the collecting and curating of a woman named Anne Letterman, who did a lot of work with Métis musicians and old recordings from northern Manitoba. And this is old native music. And the second tune is a well-known dance tune that's used for competition dancing. It's one of the crookedest tunes I know for you fiddlers out there. Don't count. And it's called the Red River Jig. And the third tune is the Métis kind of version, one of the very, very many versions of the tune Whiskey Before Breakfast. Cheers. This is Long Way Before Breakfast. So. Wrong tuning, y'all. Sorry. It had to happen. I must have tuned 300 instruments 4 times today. Let's try that again. whiskey before breakfast, apparently also alternately known as spirits at sunrise, if you want to believe that. Well, I saw, it's difficult to read very much of the chat as it goes by here, but I've seen a few things come by, and somebody asked for Peg and All, and I haven't played that in a while. That might be fun to do. Hey, if you know any of these songs, you can sing along. Sing loud so I can hear you. By the way, here in Beacon, New York, where I live in the Hudson Valley, the snow is falling like gangbusters. I hope you all are safe and inside and have all your cars off the street if you're having the same experience. Peg and All. In 1801, Peg and All. In 1801, Peg and All. In 1801, Peg and shoes was all I done. I'm gonna lay me down my all, my Peg and All. In 1802, Peg and All. In 1802, Peg and All. In 1802, Peg and shoes was all I do. I'm gonna lay me down my all, my Peg and All. In 1803, Peg and All. In 1803, Peg and All. In 1803, Peg and shoes was all you see. I'm gonna lay me down my all, my Peg and All. They've invented a new machine, Peg and All. They've invented a new machine, Peg and All. They've invented a new machine. I peg one shoe, it pegs 15. I'm gonna lay me down my all, my Peg and All. In 1804, Peg and All. In 1804, Peg and All. In 1804, Peg and shoes I'll do no more. I'm gonna lay me down my all, my Peg and All. I'm gonna lay me down my all, my Peg and All. Nice Industrial Revolution ballad. get it down to the banjo here. You all doing okay? I hope you're doing okay. Here's yet another instrument. It's a fretless banjo. And it was made in the 1870s and configured by my dear friend Ray Alden, who presented it to me. And besides being a great instrument, it was modified to be more like something you'd hear in round peak music. That music of Surrey and Stokes County, North Carolina, where a lot of us kind of went to learn to play this stuff. And the modification is that the fingerboard, which has no frets, has no speed bumps, is made of linoleum. And that's how the great banjo maker Kyle Creed did his banjos. That's what Fred Cockram, another hero of ours, played on one of those, except he had the white linoleum with the gold flecks in it. This is just pretty straight black, but I'll play you a tune from the region. Here's a little bit of roustabout. Oh, roustabout, where have you been so long? Been on the hill with a $40 man, and honey, I'm going back again. Hop on, hop on. Hop on, my Lulu girl. And where'd you get those brand new shoes? That dress that you wear so fine. Bought my shoes from a railroad man, my dress from a driver in the mine. Hop on, hop on. Hop on, my Lulu girl. Oh, baby, oh, hop on, my Lulu girl. Oh, I never loved but one little girl. I'm sorry I ever loved her. She caused me to weep, caused me to moan, caused me to leave my good old home. Hop on, hop on. Hop on, my Lulu girl. Oh, baby, oh, hop on, my Lulu girl. Oh, roustabout, where have you been so long? Been on the hill with a $40 man, and honey, I'm going back again. Hop on, hop on. Hop on, my Lulu girl. Oh, baby, oh, hop on, my Lulu girl. Roustabout. Well, y'all, how y'all holding up? Maybe I got a couple more for you. Yeah, I do. Because there's one more guitar you haven't seen yet. I might as well be a completist about this. And This guitar was made in 1926, and the man that did the last bit of restorative work on it was named Paul Hostetter, and he was a good friend of mine. And he introduced me to music from a country that I never had really had any awareness of it before. That's Madagascar. And Malagasy music is a really, really beautiful tradition that I'm still just learning about. But Paul was really deep into it, and Paul also restored this old guitar. So I always get to think about Paul when I play these kind of songs on this guitar. But this is a piece that was written in the 1930s, and it's called Yasitera. I really, really, really want to be in tune for this. That ought to do. Yasitera. You know, while I'm here, I got two more on the program for you. I know I'm really pushing my luck on the time. I hope that's okay. Another sing-along for you. whenever I get my new house done. Sail away, ladies, sail away. I'll give the old one to my son. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, ladies, sail away. Come on, children, go away with me. Sail away, ladies, sail away. No, we'll go back to Tennessee. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, ladies, sail away. Come on, children, don't you weep and cry. Sail away, ladies, sail away. No, you'll be an angel by and by. Sail away, ladies. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, ladies, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, ladies, sail away. Sail away, ladies. Well, I'm about to sail away here. Got one more on the set here for you. And let me grab my fiddle. I just want to say a big, huge thanks to Elderly, to Lily, and AJ, and Stan, and thanks for keeping music going during these weird dystopian times. We have to have confidence that things are going to get better for everybody, and if it can't get better for everybody, it doesn't get better for anybody. So come on, vaccines. Come on, social distancing. Come on, wear your masks, please. That's all I got to say about that. But hope that you all stay healthy. Have great, wonderful holidays. I'm going to end with just a couple of things I like. I kind of like everything. But thank you for tipping in the tip jar. If you haven't and you're thinking about it and I can get you off the high seam of the roof there, that would be great. It's most appreciated. And yeah, if you want to study some music, come see me on pegheadnation.com or at Cafe Lena, where I'm giving some workshops. And see you on social media. I live there in 2 dimensions, as do many of you. So I'm going to end with why not? With a tune from Finland that I learned from my friend Arto Jarvala, and I'm going to put it with a tune from Cape Breton, because of course Finland and Cape Breton, what could make more sense? And the tune from Cape Breton I want to send out to my dear friend Micah, who I think is listening tonight, because I think she likes this one. So thank you all for coming. Thanks for all the vibe. Be well. thank you all. Stay safe. See you again soon. And hang on, I'm going to get my headphones so I can hear what Lily says this time.
I'll wait to talk then. Thank you, Bruce. Oh, thank you so much for a really, really lovely 6th installment of the Elderly Instruments Living Room Sessions. Thank you to the audience for joining us. Thanks, Pop, for the interview, AJ for tech. Head on over to elderly.com/Molsky to thank Bruce for this wonderful time, and subscribe to Elderly Instruments, our email list, to keep up on all the good stuff that we have. And be sure to follow Elderly Instruments and Bruce on all the social medias that apply. And we'll see you at our January session.